Yes.
Yeah. Is it possible to make a living as a coach? And then we can continue with that maybe next week as well.
Yes, it is. I had over 40 current clients at one point in time. And I was charging between 135 and 165 a session. So I was pulling in around 110 a month, or more, sorry, 110 a year. A little less than 10,000 a month. That's what I was doing.
It sure is. You can make a living as a coach. I mean, we talked about, I mean, even in the last few years, what I've seen is just the increase in the demand for coaching. So, and there's different, the way I see it, I'm very honest and upfront. I have different routes and paths which work for me. And I like that, like having flexibility as a freelancer. So I freelance with a number of different organizations. Everything is coaching related though. Even if I am consulting or I'm doing training, I mean, I rebranded last year. My business is called Coachability, Cultivating Change. Everything is coming from a coaching informed approach. Yet at any given time, I have 20 of my own clients that I am working with, that I am coaching. So that's through Coachability itself. I run group coaching sessions. And, you know, sometimes you've got to be savvy and strategic as well. So the corporate work that I do, I may go in with consulting, but as a result of that, I get a lot of one-on-one coaching clients. But the other thing I do, I'm a freelancer with a number of universities, education institutes, and other coaching groups as well, because for me, I don't like to spend a lot of time necessarily marketing myself, although there's value in that. But there's value in both, marketing self on social media. But for me, if everyone else is zigging, I'm like, I'm going to zag. What's happening over here?
Yeah, I had to spend a lot of years, not with 40 clients, but with 15 clients, 20 clients, to spend 2 or 3 years in that space. It is super hard. There's no way around it. We were super poor. We had no money. It was like, it was a lot of faith that what we were doing professionally was going to be worth it, and it did eventually to pay off. But it wasn't a linear line; it was an exponential line. And but the work is linear. The work feels like you just have to keep putting in work day after day, and eventually the results came, and they did. And they came rushing, like seemingly all at once, and I remember that first tipping point, just feeling like this is real. It was like living a dream that you've had, tangible dream that you've taken action steps to work towards. And once that happened, it felt like what we weren't really done, because then you have all the work of the clients, and it was a thing. It really was. I had about 5 years of just tremendous numbers of hours. The thing that helped me the most, 2 things. One, having that larger mission where I knew that I was up to something, that I wanted to dedicate my professional life to making a positive change. That was huge. And creating reminders of that is, and we talk about this a lot in the business building world, similar kind of theme to the coaching session. When you get to a point when you're doing it not for the money, but for the larger mission and social change that you want to create. The money is a tool for that social change. It shifts everything. When people are in it for the money, that's the wrong reason to get into coaching.
Absolutely.
And the irony is, if you chase the money, it makes getting the money harder. When you chase the mission and this social change and the bigger things that you're after, the money will follow you. You will make different decisions. It needs to be part of it. And the hardest thing I find is staring right at the money and realizing, okay, that's hard, but I still have to take these action steps. That's a big deal. And I have a friend, he was a CFO at a couple of really amazing organizations. He's now working full-time as a CFO. He has a dream job for himself. I'm super happy for him. He often tells me, as long as you're still making moves, you're still winning. It's when you get stuck, when you feel like I can't make any moves, that's when it gets hard. So whatever you have to do to keep making moves, just keep making moves. Keep putting yourself out there. It's hard.
And
Yeah.
And I know we're almost out of time, and maybe we can pick this up next time, because I would love to share. This 5 years really struck me because I messed up so many times. I mean, I'm say failure, but there's no failure. There's only feedback. Losing businesses, not taking the right kind of approach, just being really hard on myself. And there was that tipping point. So I'd love to chat more, and any tips that we can share with people. There isn't any fast track. This is not a slim fast approach. It's not like, you have to put the work in. But I think I love when I'm talking to coaches to share some of those things from my experience. And I wish I had somebody at that time to talk to. It was one of the hardest times, but we're here now to answer those questions and support people, aren't we? So anyway,
yeah, it's amazing. Like once you cross over that, I knew at a certain point that I'd feel nostalgia for that period of time, and I do. I really do. It felt simpler back then, even though it was really hard. Yeah, this is an excellent place to pick up from. We'll start here. And the second thing, so that was one thing. The second thing is client sessions themselves. Having and feeling like making an impact on a one-on-one level in someone's life, it's so fulfilling. Your first 5 clients, the value that you receive in terms of business building isn't the money they give you, it's the motivation to keep moving forward, because you feel on a tangible level what it's like to change someone's life. To me, I felt like I want more of that. I need more of that in my life. And when that becomes, when that becomes the larger motivation, that's when I hear coaches say that and experience that, I know, yeah, they're going to make it. They're going to make it.
I think
Right. So what's our closing? Do we have one? A brief. Do we have a closing? What's our closing script? Not yet. We'll get one.
I guess. Yeah, I think maybe it's just a message for. I'm going to tell people to maybe think about. I'm going to be reflecting on this. I always love to journal after these kinds of conversations. So, coaching question for people. What are your biggest takeaways from today?
Yeah, let's close with an inquiry. So, what's your takeaway and what's the inquiry, Raj?
Takeaway for me is around enoughness. How can I lean into being enough versus doing enough?
My biggest takeaway is it does feel so good to go back in time and revisit that and see that. Like, yeah, I'm here now, but it hasn't been a pretty journey. Takeaway for me is, how can I embrace even the things currently not pretty? How can I embrace the not pretty right now? And in the same kind of way, that's meaningful to me right now.